Hey, what's up everybody? In this video tutorial, we're going to be taking a look at how to create paper packaging, um, basically using Fusion 360. What's really cool is that we're actually going to be faking Fusion into thinking that sheet metal is actually paper. So this goes right along with problem 1.4.1, sweet improvement. So we're going out and we're creating those pastry boxes or sweet boxes, whatever you want to call those things. And this is pretty easy to do just if we grab a hold of Fusion and just sort of make it think the way we want it to think. So let's go ahead, let's jump into Fusion. And the first thing I want to be doing is coming up here, and in Fusion you can see that there is a sheet metal tab. So if we pick on sheet metal tab, the first thing we need to do is basically set up what our sheet metal rules are. So I'm going to go ahead and pick on that. And down here we can see steel and inches. And what I'm going to do is just go ahead, I'm just going to come here and hit on the little pencil, and I'm going to be coming in and putting in what my thickness needs to be for my little paper thickness for my box. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, just grab a set of dial calipers. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to measure like something like cardstock, which is basically what our packaging would be. It wouldn't be like copier paper. And I'm just going to go ahead and say I measure this to be 0.02. So I'm going to go ahead, type in 0.02, hit save, and then just simply close out. All right, so first thing I need to do is come up here and create a sketch. So I'm gonna go ahead and create the base of this, and I'm gonna say that the base of this needs to be a package. Let's just say it's 4 by 4. I'm gonna go ahead and hit enter, and I'm just going to finish the sketch. All right, so that is done. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna come up here and pick on flange, and when I pick on flange, it's now gonna be asking me to pick my profile. So I'm gonna pick the profile, and it is going to apply that 0.02 thickness of my paper, okay, to that actual flange itself. Now the thing is, I need to make sure to be picking the correct rule, which in this case is going to be steel inches, and I'm going to go ahead and say okay. So it's just going to be this very thin sheet, okay, which in our case is actually going to be paper. All right, it's thinking it's steel. All right, so now we can go ahead and just begin creating the box. Now, what I would do is I'd probably be bringing in packaging from home. I can pick up cardboard boxes. I can see how basically all those are going to be created by, kids just taking the boxes and just simply, pulling on the tabs, unfolding all this, and they're going to be seeing if there's ways that you can fold it. There's going to be different tabs that you can apply glue to. That's really what they sort of need to analyze first to see how these packages are actually created. All right. And then from here, this is when I'd be coaching my kids of, well, let's just create just a simple box. All right. And so in order to do that, I'm going to be coming up, picking on flange. All right. So in order to create this flange, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sneak right in here and grab the inside corner of this package. I'm going to be doing that on all 4 of these edges right here. So that's going to be number 3. Okay. And then number 4 needs to be this guy right here. All right, so the height on that, we want our box to be, 4 inches tall. So I'm gonna go ahead and type in 4, and we can see all those sides come up. I'm gonna go ahead and just say okay. All right, so that has been done. All right, and so now what we have to do is we have to start setting these up where we have these sort of, glue tabs that we want to use, um, to bend in and then basically glue these sides together. All right, so in order to do that, what I'm going to do is go to flange again. Instead of turning this in to go to the inside, all right, paper is very, very flexible. All right, there's a lot of give when it comes to paper. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and send these to the outside, okay, like so. So that's going to be 1. Okay, this is going to be my 2. And then I'm going to come over here, pick on my 3. And then let's see if I can get to my 4 from this side. I might have to flip this over. Here we go. I'm going to flip this side over to like that. Okay. All right, so I have all 4 of those corners, okay, that I'm wanting. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just put down, I don't know, maybe I want this to be 1 inch. So those are going to come out 1 inch. I'm going to go ahead and say okay. All right, so when you're looking at glue tabs and packaging, basically they are either chamfered or they're going to be filleted. So I'm going to go ahead and just come up here, go to modify. I'm going to find chamfer, and I'm going to go ahead and just pick on this corner. And I'm going to come down here and pick on this corner, and then come over here and pick on this corner, and pick on this corner. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just apply this. I'm just going to say it's going to be a 0.5 chamfer. That'll work, or we could even say, well, we'll just leave it at 0.5. Let's just say okay on that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and flip this around and go to the other side. Okay, go down to modify, go to chamfer. Okay, I'm going to come to this edge right here, apply that chamfer on that edge. Okay, come down here to the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and apply the chamfer here. Okay, and then apply our chamfer on this top edge. Okay, and then come down here and apply a chamfer here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just type in 0.5 there. All right, so once again, those are going to bend in. All right, and then we can apply glue. Okay, in this case, it would be on this side. All right, and that's going to be bringing that side together. All right, so that is basically it for those tabs. All right, now what we have to do is come up with the actual top flap itself. So I'm going to go to flange. I'm going to go ahead and just pick this back side here. All right, obviously that needs to come out a distance of 4. So it's going to be 4 inches. I'm going to go ahead and say OK. All right, so we have that top flap, but we are going to need this actual little flap that tucks into the package. So I'm going to say flange on this one. Come in here, grab this edge. All right, and then what I'm going to do is just go ahead and just put that like 1 inch. Okay, like so. All right, so since I want that to sort of tuck in, you know, be kind of nice and neat, okay, I'm going to go ahead and add a fillet on this so I can grab this edge. Okay, come down here to this side. I'm going to grab this edge and then apply my 0.5 radius on that just to round it over. Say OK. All right, so that way it just sort of tucks into the front here. All right, so that has been completed. All right, so I also want sort of tabs or flaps that are going to come in and excuse me, and be able to actually cover up what our actual product is. So I'm going to come here and go to flange. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just pick this side here. And then I'm going to come over here on the other side and pick this edge here. And then since I want those both to meet in the middle, that's a total distance of 4. So I'm going to be making both of those 2 like so. Okay, and that's sort of it. All right. So at this point in time, this is when we could start applying like decals to it. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out here and say I want to create a sketch on this face. Okay. Maybe I want to go out there and put in some sort of a UPC code or something. I can say decal. And now what I can do is I can insert from my computer. I can go out there now and find my UPC, which I think I saved it earlier. Maybe it didn't grab it, but let's just go ahead and let's just put in some sort of image. I'm just going to say it's that one. I'm going to go ahead and select that face. All right, so that image can go in. At this point in time, you can rotate that if you'd like. Okay, you can also shift and move this. All right, for your sort of sticker, you can say OK on that. All right, and there is your image on that one. Okay, so the product is basically done. It's ready to go. All right, I know it kind of looks funny because we just threw our flaps out, but the reason I'm telling you to do that is because what I want to do is I want to come out here and actually say I want to create a flat pattern. And the thing it's going to be asking us is, hey, what do you want to make stationary? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say I want to make this one stationary. I'm going to go ahead and say OK. All right, and that is my actual package that I just created. It just unfolded everything. All right, so it's all right there. All right, I can see that is on the front view. I'm going to remember that. I'm going to go ahead and pick on Finish Flat Pattern. Okay, and you can see how it folds it back up. But what I want to do is I want to come back in here to my flat pattern. Okay, like so. All right, I have it where I want. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and go into Drawing. I'm going to say From Design. I'm going to go ahead and say Save. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this on a title block. Okay, so my title block comes over. There's my actual flat pattern. I'm going to go ahead and just place it and say OK. The problem is the scaling's all wrong. So I know I'm going to have to bump my sheet size up quite a bit. So I'm going to go to my sheet settings. Okay, I'm going to come here and hit on pencil. And I'm going to go ahead and just bump this up maybe to like a C size sheet, which is going to be much larger. I'm going to go ahead and double click on this and just say I want this to be a 1-to-1. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit close. I'm going to go ahead and drag this in. And obviously that's not going to be fitting on a C size. So that's when I can go ahead and just bump this onto a D size. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say OK on that. Everything is fitting. Okay, I can easily just slide this into place. Now, if we look close enough, if we come in here, like I said, this is thinking it's going to be sheet metal. So you are going to have these goofy little notches here, but you're also going to be seeing your fold lines here. All right, and so that's going to work out very, very well, you know, for our actual package. So what you could actually do if you had a plotter, all right, like a full-blown, like large format printer, what you could is actually print this out 1-to-1 on a plotter. And then your kids could go out there, they could cut this out of the paper, and then they could basically trace this on a cardstock, and then they could actually go out there and bend all this up, all right, and it's going to be the exact same dimensions that they just created, using Fusion, which is what we were playing with right here. So it's a really, really cool concept to sort of play with. Um, Coming up with packaging, it's a absolutely huge market. I looked it up before how much we'd spent in packaging every year. So it's a very big market. There's a lot of demand for it. There's a lot of jobs with it. So it just sort of gives your kids sort of an idea of what they could do. And honestly, it's kind of fun with Fusion, just the fact that we're tricking sheet metal and thinking it's actually cardstock, so you can do a lot with it. So there you go. That is a video tutorial on how to cheat Fusion 360 and make it believe it's folding up cardstock and not sheet metal. It's a lot of fun. I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. So there you go.